Hello, hello. I'm going to move this light a little bit. I'll be right back. Welcome to Frequency Friday. Yay, we have sound. Okay. Yay. Hello, hello. If you're here, let me know in the chat. The Frequency Friday 12/12 portal in the 13th month. I'm very excited. I'm getting some of the cards ready still. And we're going to let the algorithmic waves carry this out. I am only doing landscape live today because I just wanted the big field here. I really wanted the space to hold cards up today. So we'll give it a minute. How's everyone? Fixing my hair. Ooh, how has this time been treating you? We've got so much movement going on within, without. Let me know how it's been for you. Let me know you're here by dropping a quick note in the chat. I was a little later to getting the everything up, and I think even the thumbnail was showing blurry, but it'll straighten itself out. So good morning. Happy Friday. Thank you, Jason. I'm trying to figure out what decks I want to use today still. I think we're going to go with the Wizards Tarot. Let's be wizards as we explore. We're explorers at Creators on the Crest, aren't we? Hello. Welcome to Creators on the Crest. If you're here, drop in the chat. Let me know you're here, how you're feeling. Today is a 12/12 day numerologically speaking. So I think I'm going to come into a completion cycle with my schedule and staying organized. Setting up the Christmas tree, Karen. Wonderful. All right. Yeah, I mean, I forget sometimes that, and I've got these lights like on me that you just moved. And so, like, of course, you haven't had a chance to do any of that yet. It's like that energy of, for me, I'm feeling like I'm behind, I'm running behind, but at the same time, like I'm right on time, and hopefully some of the energies we look into today will help us navigate some of this, because we're going to go into the 12/12 portal. Now, if you go online and you search it up, it's a lot to do. They'll talk about it being an angelic portal and all that stuff. That's really not how I approach the numerology and of these kind of times. I am more into looking into the deeper aspects, the meanings of the numbers, how they relate to the tarot cards, and everything like that. Kimberly's here. Hello. Your self-evolved trust is here. Hello. Good morning. I'm all coffee today here. But yeah, we're gonna kind of I like to do a lot of exploring, spiritual exploration. So we're gonna be going into not only like the energy of the 12/12 portal and looking at December, we're going to look into January, but we're going to look at that space in between, which in some cultures and places, they actually honor a 13th month, which is really super interesting and I think significant. If anyone ever saw the reimagined Battlestar Galactica series, they had a 13th tribe. Mary Magdalene is often called the 13th disciple, right? So, let's go beyond that Gregorian calendar a little bit and dive deeper into some of the mysteries here. Jason's getting extra coffee today. Second cup, big cup. Yeah. Woo, yeah. Tress has got her coffee too. Yeah. All right. So we're going to get into things here. Reminders in 2 days on Sunday evening from 7 to 8, I will be live here on the channel doing the Q&A. So that's going to be fun. It's been a minute since I've done that structured Q&A. Last Friday, you all know I kind of opened it up and did a Q&A here for everyone. But this week, I had to go with the landscape. I had to get more space so we could really dive into this theme. So I didn't put it on a mobile live today, but that's okay. I'm fine with it. Everyone who's meant to be here will be here, whether live or on the replay. And I'm just really excited to get into the energies. I can't believe it's the 12th of December. Where did the whole year go? I'm taking a course on astrological transits. So I've been learning a lot about that. You'll hear me talk about it more and more. It's such a wonderful complement to the tarot. I really love astrology as a complement. It just goes hand in hand. Numerology, tarot, astrology. There we go. I'm going to try to move if I can. I've got myself backed up against the wall here. There we go. Yeah, I want to go this way. Whee! Okay, there. Now I'm happy. Kimberly says in the Southwest, there is a 13 grandmothers gathering. Ooh, I love that. Yeah, I really love that. So we'll kind of break down the numbers. So first of all, let's just ground ourselves astrologically speaking into kind of what you might be feeling and what's going on. So we're in Sagittarius season right now. We have the mutable energies all upon us, which the Tuesday Tarot and Tea was all about, going into the mutable energies and getting comfortable there. Now, some of you have predominant sign placements in those mutable energies. So you may already kind of be used to the way those energies flow, but others might have some adjustments to make. Tressa says you're really liking the tarot and tea. Good. Yes, you bet. You bet. Extra dose of creators on the crest. I love it. I love it. Yes, I'm really enjoying it. There's a part of me that's kind of missing doing some of the sign readings though. So I don't know how it's all going to look. Y'all know, and I know you all here can relate to having a full life and a full schedule. And so finding the best way to honor yourself as you're creating content and doing all this stuff is like kind of like my mission, like to figure out what is my balance with it. I love the tarot and tea though, because I feel like it goes into some of the deeper layers, and I really like doing the psychic weather. I find that very helpful. Somehow you got through the whole thing, Karen, and didn't catch the weather forecast. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you can always go back. I do, there are timestamps on those, so that's kind of helpful because you could go back and when you're ready. Maybe there's a reason you didn't catch it. Usually there's some sort of reason there was something else you were to focus on. But yeah, let's get into the astrology of right now. So I mentioned the mutable energies. Today we also have what's called, and I think it differs in the astrological community as to what is a stellium. Is it like planets, or can it be like the sun and moon included? But from what I'm seeing out there, mostly they're referring to today's astrology as a Scorpio stellium, with the sun, Mercury, and Venus all in Scorpio. And maybe that's why I was called to kind of go into this 13th month kind of thing, because I was like, I really want to go to the spaces like in between. I feel like things are happening in those spaces that are a part of our evolution. So sometimes, the logical mind, and this is where I think of like, I think of like the Vulcans in Star Trek, right? Very logical. I think sometimes the conscious logical mind, though, can sometimes miss out, and it's in the way it structures things. And so I thought it would be a lot of fun to dive into that space in between, or the liminal space, time space area of what some cultures put forth as the 13th month. So you've got the Gregorian calendar, right? And it seems to like, and I really honestly think because a lot of times we're connected to that calendar in our conscious mind, but there's other parts of us that are on a greater journey, and I think we're expanding outside of that calendar a lot of times. I think that's why a lot of us have very interesting relationships with time. Let me know in the comments, like, sometimes do days feel like you just woke up and it's over? Like, you just woke up and then like the day's over. And then there's other portions of the day that seem to just be like endless, like they're just really long. And I think this is our navigation of our conscious and subconscious mind interacting in the waking state, right? I think it's part of our evolution. So that's why I like to go into this 13th month idea. And there's a couple of calendars that are well known, like the Jewish calendar. I think they have a cycle of like 21 or 22 years, and every seventh year they do like a 13th month. And then in the Ethiopian calendar, they have a short, like 13th month. It's a window of like 5 or 6 days, which I just find, I mean, I find this fascinating. I find this fascinating, and like wow, how do we, in kind of the tropical astrology, we just read kind of the 12-month cycle. But I know from talking to a lot of you that we feel those transitional energies. We feel the in between times, and I think it's more than just cycle ends and cycle begins. There's something going on in the middle. There's maybe integration, maybe illumination, maybe, who knows. We're gonna ask today, and we're gonna find out. So it's going to be really interesting, because we'll jump into the oracle first, and we'll kind of get a read there about what's in this liminal space for us. And then the breakout readings, we're going to look at, like I said, December, the in between, the 13th month space, and then January 2026. And we're going to kind of see what's in the middle there. So I'm really interested to get into that. Tressa says the first week of January should definitely be its own month. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're feeling it. See, like you're already connected to that energy. Kimberly has a birthday on the 1st. And so, wow, Kimberly, I wonder if like your actual incarnation day feels a certain way, because you're kind of right, at that cycle change. And how does that feel in your life, and how does that affect you, having, come in at kind of that in between time? Anybody with those late December, early January birthdays. So something to consider, right? Going into this energy. And you all know I like exploring and being curious about these things. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get into some of the oracle messages here. One more quick note I will say, because I know some of you have been working with this energy, the 12. So when we look at the 12 in tarot, it's the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is about that surrender. It's a sacrifice. It's gaining new perspective, but it can also be seen as an initiation. And what's interesting is the card that comes next in the major arcana, the 13, is the Death card, which is our Scorpio energy. So we're going to be watching for those two major arcana cards today to see if they come up anywhere. And the Death card is your transformation. That's the turning points. That's that place in between where the conscious and the subconscious come together, and there's that what's going on there. What's going on is these parts of ourselves communicate, right? And so I'm very, very, very interested to see. I don't even know if I have all the oracle cards out that I'm going to be using yet, because I was like kind of hustling to to get here this morning like this. But we're going to get started, and then I'll just turn around to my little bookshelf back here, my little tarot shelf, and get more cards as needed. So make yourself comfortable, grab your coffee. If anyone's joined that hasn't said hello, drop a hi in the comments. We're going to start with a card from the Star Seed Oracle, and I just love the I mean, this almost looks like an abalone shell or something. It's just such a beautiful card. It looks so shiny. To me, it looks like a matte finish, but when I put it in the light, I mean, it's very well designed. Um, Other than being careful not to grab the box by the top, it's got this really cool like lid to it here. So his Starseed Oracle, really love this, by Rebecca Campbell, and Danielle Noel is the artist. So let's see what the Starseed Oracle message is today to kind of get us in this liminal space and an invitation here to go in a little bit deeper. Okay. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm going to get another one. This card, the first card that came out has come up before, I think in a message. Ooh, okay, this is interesting, these two together. All right. So we are getting a bit of a message that the type of exploration that we're doing today likely is not going to resonate with everyone. And I do think it has to do a lot with the conscious, like mental traps that a lot of people find themselves in. Because when we talk about even like, there's been some theories around, World War III is actually a spiritual war, right? And so the major attacks that have been unleashed have been to attack the consciousness, the conscious mind. And if that can be controlled, then how are you ever going to find your way into the subconscious? How are you ever going to, if the conscious mind is constantly plugged in to distraction and illusion and inversion, how are you ever going to bridge that gap between your own conscious and subconscious mind? But that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to evolve with more of our mental capacities, reaching into like telekinesis and those kinds of things. Of course, humanity needs to be at a certain maturity level collectively for these things to happen. But individually, you can already begin to do this if you're not plugged into those control systems. And so that's really coming up here as we look into the liminal space. As you work with this energy, there's going to be people who are like, are you okay? Like, what's going on with you? Do um, to them, you might feel more distant or, possibly even not as present. But we got the card here. You're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness and face your true north. So if there is this cosmic exploration, we've got this woman standing with flowing robes, blowing in the cosmic wind on the precipice of, embracing this huge, what looks like Jupiter and Saturn energy here, planetary energy, right? Outer planets, right? You might seem to some people like when you explore these things, you're a little bit out there, but it's about accepting yourself. It's about knowing and trusting yourself and what you're meant to explore in your own psyche. And when you have that authority over your own mental acuity and your mental prowess, then of course you're going to trust yourself to look into things and use discernment. But that may not be something that everybody understands or that everybody could get as excited about as you, right? Now, there's kind of this more, let me call it practical world application of this. And that's just remembering that not everybody's going to be a part of the creators community. Not everybody's going to be a part of the tribe. Not everybody is going to be able to see you and your gifts, talents, and abilities. And that's okay. You're meant to reach the people with the eyes to see and the ears to hear what you have to share. And so I really like how she's standing in this card because it, to me, reflects a sense of freedom, feeling free in being who you are, in facing your true north. And people are either going to accept that or not. And there's also an element here. This may be for a few of you specifically about some relationships changing here, and that sometimes it's just a natural progression that certain people fall away. So sometimes we get emotionally attached to how we think friendships should begin and end, but what I'm getting here is just like I'm seeing kind of that wheel of fortune, that turning wheel, and that sometimes things, like you're turning on the wheel, and sometimes things just fly off and people just fly off and relationships change. So if some of you have been feeling a little bit of stress around that, or you're seeing that happen in your life, it feels like it's very much a natural part of this process. Now, the other card that we got with it is the void energy, and it says, Stop, embrace winter and the great cosmic womb. And it's just full Scorpio looking kind of energy in this card, full mystery. I mean, I have no idea. I see a little star point there in the middle in that dust cloud there. So, and it could look like an eye, a bit of an eye, right? And this is an invitation to relax into this energy and spend a little time here. So the void is inviting us into that 13th month time space energy, that continuum in there, and having us explore a little and pause there and really embrace the stillness. I think that's really good to remind everybody for practical application right now as well, especially because we have what we have the winter solstice coming up, we have a new moon. Oh gosh, it's just loaded, it's packed full of changes and evolutionary energies. And so it, to me, really feels like the more you can pause and just take moments. I don't care if you need to shut yourself in the bathroom at work, once you need to go to your car, you need to just close the door to your bedroom and have a moment, like that is going to be moments of stillness. And it's not about force, it's about surrendering. So if we think of that 12, that hanged man energy, it's just about relaxing yourself. And don't even worry too much about resetting your nervous system. You can, a lot of you have tools for that. But what if it's just connecting, just kind of reconnecting or connecting with yourself in these busy times, in these busy energies, right? These mutable energies, the chameleon kaleidoscope energies that are constantly changing right now, and connecting and finding yourself, really connecting in with your heart, connecting in with that nervous system. As many moments, and this is going to be my goal next week too. I'm going to take as many moments, Jason, just letting you know, if I disappear for a little bit, I'm just connecting in with myself on that deeper level. I'm taking the moment to surrender into that and stopping and embracing whatever arises. Looks like an aerial view of a hurricane. Yeah, with like that peaceful center there. Absolutely. The void card almost has a holographic feel as you move. It seems like the clouds are moving. Have to see it in the replay. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to look at that as well. Yeah, I kind of felt like, I mean, I was really getting that when I was holding this card up too, like the back of it, like the backs of the cards. So yeah, definitely. Maybe it is even just that as we explore these energies, we're already beginning to experience a shift in perception, because that's not something that's ever caught my eye before. And I honestly feel like we're connecting with energy we're meant to when we're meant to connect with it. So yeah, so take time to reconnect with yourself, connect in with yourself, and ground. Okay, and speaking of grounding, I do find that animal totems and guides can help us. We're going to go, though, to the Wild Mystic. So I love this deck because it gives us the air of mystery with the animals, and it's like black and white and gold, but it also grounds us into whatever animal energy could maybe help us. And maybe there's a guide or two. We'll see what comes out here for us, to help us to kind of be our companion through this liminal space, as if we're choosing to explore that 13th month time space energy and those places inside of us, right? As within, so without. All right. Whoa, this one very powerfully came out. Oh, I really like this energy. Okay, so whew, there's a lot going on in this card. So I'm going to put it over here, just make sure. So this is kind of one of those things. It took me a minute when I first saw the card. I'm like, what animal is that? Can you see the elephant head in white, kind of in the white pattern there? And directly above that, we have the elephant skull in black with a beautiful golden mandala arising around that. So, wow, this could be representing some of the Scorpio energy and us making the most of that as we begin to explore this liminal space, this space of mystery. I mean, Scorpio is all about mystery and the depths and exploring the shadows as well as the light. So that is really being represented in this card here. The elephant is an energy of bigness, largeness, full energy. And elephants are so wise and connected. I think I'm just thinking about, I'm like connecting in with, like, if you've ever heard the sound of like a herd and their feet like touching the ground, or like a stampede, the power in the wisdom and the connectedness that they have with the earth. I mean, they definitely, have gravity. They have a relationship with gravity and a connection to the earth. They're large, they're heavy, right? And so here we have memory being shown. And I'm also reminded of, maybe seeing a few nature documentaries here and there. And remembering how there was a man that, and I can't remember, a scientist, or, like a, what do you call 'em? Where they study the animal behaviors. I can't remember exactly the term, but I want to say biologist, but it's similar to that. Like, and he had spent a lot of his journey watching and working with this one family of elephants. And when he passed away, the elephants like did like a little funeral march to come and honor him. And so I thought that was like, really indicative of their energy and how they hold a very powerful memory. And as we age in life, there's this kind of belief that the human mind deteriorates and the effects of aging, and you start to forget things. And, and I know there can be those conditions, but I honestly feel deep down in my soul that part of that is connected to the mind control and to the disconnection from nature. And so, to me, I'm not sure that's true. I think maybe we hold memory on a deeper level, in a different way, in our soul, right? In a powerful way. So, can we work with this energy of memory? Can we repair any way we've been influenced to think that we're forgetful, or that our memory isn't as good as it once was, things like that, and begin to connect with ourselves in these deeper levels, these more, maybe they're primal, maybe they're soul level, right? But just explore these energies for ourselves and connect more deeply with memory and remembrance. And it's a beautiful card to come up. Karen says, I thought the elephant skull was a jellyfish at first, or like Cthulhu, or however you spell it. Yeah, I don't know how to spell that either. Yeah. I thought when I first looked at it, pulled it, I thought, is that like a moth? Like, I thought maybe it was like wings and then this was the body of the moth, which that would be kind of like Scorpio energy too. But yeah, I'm getting that big wisdom, that big memory here. And the elephant is also very adorned. So there's like adornments here. So that may mean something personal to someone there, but what a beautiful energy. Elephant also feels like big and protective. So maybe as we explore this liminal space, we can walk beside or let elephant carry us on this journey into this space. I think this is a beautiful card to come up and I like I didn't talk that much about it, but I like the life and death kind of again another in between space that we can explore, another liminal type space. I think that's amazing to look at. We're going to go into another kind of mysterious deck, I guess you could call it, the Beyond Lemuria Oracle. So, Lemuria in the Pacific Ocean, the mythos and the lore, it has to do with connectedness to a society that was very, very connected to nature and to their physical movements, their emotional movements, their spiritual movements connected in with Mother Earth to a very high degree, a shamanic degree, if you will. And so we're going to see what this deck would like to share. Ooh, okay. So for those of you who like working with the dragon energy, we got a bit of dragon energy here. We definitely have light and dark being depicted again in the number 15 card, and this is Fire Solaris Sublime. So this could be a little bit of a shout out to some of that Sagittarius energy that we're working with right now. And I love the word sublime. I think sublime is one of my, remember that band Sublime? I think it's one of my favorite words though, because it just connects to such an emotion so deeply in me. Like, and I think of sublimation, right? I think about like the scientific and the chemical sublimation and what does that mean? And really another energy that could carry us into this in between space. But with it being connected also to fire and the sun, Solaris, I'm wondering if this could mean um, the way our soul is sparked by this energy and transformed. I mean, it's definitely a transformational energy. So in the card here, there's some sort of orb here at the bottom, and then you have your character. I guess you could call that us. Um, really surrendering in a kind of a surrendered pose with like the head down and forward, stretching the neck. So, definitely a pose of surrender, some beautiful wings coming out. And then we have like the base of the orb, and then it changes as it goes above and outside of the energetic field or the extension of the energetic field. And then it unfolds and changes again, and it changes again, and it comes to some sort of climax here or pinnacle with these dragons, these opposing dragons, the dark and the light meeting one another. Yeah, it's a really beautiful card, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it's really beautiful. So, just a moment. I mean, we've got feathers, we've got scales, we've got orbs here. So, a lot. And then there's like smaller dragons here on each side coming out, like on either side of her wings. And it's just a flow and a dance of opposites, isn't it? And maybe this speaks to the exploration that we have, like within ourselves, to opposing forces. Maybe this is the way we feel spread out or spread thin sometimes. And how do we bring it back into balance? And again, it looks like a surrendering kind of pose, a surrendering energy. And like I said before, finding those times in the physical world, those moments where you can really surrender into yourself and explore what's happening within. And the orbs each hold something a little different. It's kind of hard to see. I might even need to take a magnifying glass to this, but I know the top orb has like a spiral galaxy. The one right below that has some sort of maybe illuminated being or winged kind of energy. The one below that has something dark and shadowy. And then the very bottom one, it's very difficult to see. I can't really even tell what's in the bottom orb. I'll hold it up as close as I can. There's something light at the top. But wow, there's a lot going on in this card, just like there's a lot going on in each of us. And I think this is just another example of how we're gaining permission to go into these areas of ourselves to understand ourselves better. This could also represent the necessity of the understanding of the light can only be accomplished by the journey to the dark, and the understanding of the dark can only be accomplished by the journey into the light. And having that all be happening for us, perhaps this liminal space will um, give us perspective on both of those. And it feels really mystical. And this is a card that to me feels like it has some momentum to it. So, in those moments of surrender, where does the energy carry you? And maybe it'll be a good time to have your journals ready, have some voice notes ready so that you can go deeper into those energies. Okay, I want to select some more oracle cards here. But which ones? Woo. Whoa, I'm dropping cards. I dropped some romance cards, but I'm going to leave them down there for right now. We're going to go into the Sacred Geometry of Relationships Oracle here because, we did get that card. You're not for everyone. I think some of us are dealing with our relational energies and how we relate to others and how we relate to the people in our life. And those things are changing. Those dynamics are changing. So let's see if we can get a little bit of assistance from the Sacred Geometry of Relationships Oracle. Okay, we got number 31, originality, and it says the frequency. That's the 3113. Interesting if you flip-flop those numbers. The frequency of originality supports our capacity to be unique and original creators, yay, of unlimited possibilities in every moment. So, reconnecting with something very originally and uniquely us is a beneficial side effect of exploring this in between space. Perhaps for some of us, there's some gem of wisdom in there that we're going to extract and make our own, right? Really, it is already our own, and we're going to make it. Let me rephrase that. It is already our own, but we're going to make it known in the world. We're going to bring it to the world in some original form. I'm kind of getting the sense of like there's all these voices. Oh, someone's already done that. Someone's already done that. Someone's already done that. Someone already thought of that. Blah, 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 blah. Right? That kind of noise energy that oftentimes is connected to the ego and connected to like waves of fear that will pass through us. And this card is coming in saying, no, like, what you've got is yours and yours alone. This is the energy of what you agreed to bring to the world. And it's from the heart. It's something that you will be able to communicate out. I'm just looking at the colors here. We have the orange, we have the green, and the blue. So the orange connected to your power, to understanding that it is yours and it comes from a place deep inside of you. The green of the heart energy expanding outwards, and then the blue showing that we're able to put it into some form of communication. I love it. Now, it's very interesting. We have a lot of circular energy, and then we have our squares kind of, juxtaposed on there. And this is Sacred Geometry deck. So, kind of working with that energy. How do we stabilize our communications? How do we frame this, our original ideas for others? How do we frame this is that frame changing? It almost looks like one of those things that I can go in and put my hand on and I can change it. I can click it this way, counterclockwise, clockwise. Look at what I can do with this. Look at how I can move it around and change up the way that I communicate this. And so some of you may be having connections to ideas in this liminal space as you explore this space in between. There may be original ideas, motivations, inspirations that come up for you. So I think the originality card is speaking to some of the gifts that will birth out of this exploration that you take, which is really, really powerful. And I love that. I love that. So very interesting. And I feel like that feels really good and a great way to like ground ourselves in today. Love the elephant energy. Really, it just feels like such an anchor as we go into kind of explore these unknown territories of ourselves and of the universe. So very, very interesting there. We're going to get into the breakout reading. So let me talk a little bit about my perspective on predictions. Okay. Predictions is a very popular key term here on YouTube. The algorithms love predictions. They love portals and predictions and things like this. Okay. But when it comes to prediction energy, um, time and space, at least my relationship to it has taught me that it's always unfolding. And so in this, as we try to get kind of these snapshots and put it into a pattern, everything's still unfolding and changing as we go. So I just invite everyone not to get too sticky on the whole predictions, like this is gonna happen, or this energy. These energies, I treat these energies of predictions more as like invitations for your exploration. And there may be multiple invitations within a reading, and you may or may not accept the invitation. One of them might stand out to you more than another. One energy might be for someone else. Someone else really needed to hear that. So it's just using your discernment, trusting your intuition, trusting your instinct to guide you to the messages that feel the best for you and that feel that you really resonate with them on like that deep soul level. We are going to keep our eyes out for the Hangman and the Death card to see if those come out. I'm going to use the Wizard's Tarot today. We're going to look at, and I think I'm going to, normally I do one reading and then another, but that doesn't feel right today. I'm feeling like I want to see December. I want to see the 13th month energy in the middle, the liminal space, and I want to see January like all lined out. And then we can pull like the clarifications on those. It didn't feel right to me to like do one and then the other and then the other. So I don't know how I'm going to timestamp this. It might be a little busy in the timestamps to get to certain places, but it's what feels right. And I want to honor what feels right as we're exploring this energy. So we're going to kind of get a full vibe picture here of everything. And December came right on out for us there. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting what's coming out for December, unexpected. And then there's our 13th month, the liminal space, and now January. We'll just get these original cards out and then we'll do clarifications here. Okay, and I just like the energy's just got like the heat has come on here. The heat is on. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what. Also, I'm interested to know, before I really get into things, because I got to pull a clarifier deck here. What are you looking for? What are you seeking? Or what do you think you're seeking? It'll be interesting for you to kind of reflect on yourself and say, okay, what am I seeking? Is it balance? Is it like the answer I need to launch something? Is it, how am I going to work out this health issue? What are you seeking? And thinking about that now. And if you'd like to share, I invite you to share in the comments. And then let's see if that changes, because we are in these mutable energies, and Scorpio likes sometimes to come out of nowhere and surprise us. So we've definitely got some energies that may start one way, but then we realize, it might be something else. So if you feel like it, put it in the comments while I get another deck. I think we're going to go with the Radiant Rider-Waite for our clarifications today, and then I'll show you these cards. But yeah, let me know what you're feeling about, if you're looking at December and then some sort of bridge in that liminal space, and then January, what is it you're trying to accomplish, even if it's just very like mundane and physical, right? Like maybe what is it? And I'll just speak right now to, there seems to be in this energy an invitation not to pressure yourself too much, right? Again, we're going into a different way of experiencing the change of this calendar year. We're looking into the energies differently. So you might think by December 31st, I want to do this, and this is my New Year's resolution. But maybe your body and your soul is not calling you to that time frame. Maybe you're feeling into next year as more of like a springtime energy. Maybe there's something to be birthed naturally during that season for those of us in the northern hemisphere. Maybe there's something that you're looking to release. Maybe some of our tribe in the southern hemisphere going into autumn, right? As we go into spring. What, really like search in there, and you'll be able to distinguish where your mental mind might be wrapped up in one idea, but your body and soul is trying to carry you a different direction. Tressa says, I'm seeking fulfillment and peace. Beautiful. Fulfillment and peace. I love that. I think you're going to see that in some of this energy here. It's very interesting. You said fulfillment and peace. I don't know that I want to pull clarifiers yet. I think I want to show you this. Would anyone else like to share? Let me know in the comments if you'd like to share. You don't have to, but if you'd like to. It's for you too. It's for you to go into it, before you see the cards and look at it, and then see if it changes for you by the end. Or maybe it remains the same, but you get a new perspective on it, right? I find this a really good way to work with the archetypes and the energies of the tarot as well. Okay, so really very interestingly, the card that comes up for December, it's a major arcana card. I did not expect this one, because when I think about, but then again, we may not be on that Gregorian calendar, but when I think about the 12 and I think about closings and endings and all of that, I'm thinking of like the World card, the last card in the major arcana, but we got the Fool. We got the Fool, the 0 point energy, the new beginning here in the 12th month, according to some calendars, right? So very, very interesting. Maybe we've already begun, even with your inspiration to show up today, my inspiration to cover these topics. We've already connected with a new beginning, a new energy, a new idea. The Fool energy, it could be a return to innocence for some of you through deep levels of forgiveness. This could represent that for some of you. The Fool sometimes is seen very, childlike, and maybe a bit malleable, a bit gullible, a bit like they're leaping before they look kind of energy. So some of you may be connecting with that, but it's also very, very innocent, curious. She's definitely in this particular card measuring, kind of like, do I want to jump? And the dog, her little dog familiar, is kind of checking it out too. It looks like she has, what's really interesting is it looks like she has, let me show this a little bit closer. This big, don't mind my manicure has not been done. Oh, well. It looks like a big hairy, like a blanket made of hair, which I find really interesting. Almost looks like a huge wig hanging over this cliff with like a red feather and the white rose. They're already like falling. Okay, they're already in the free fall, and maybe that's like tools. Some of you could be dropping some of the tools you've previously used, and you're going to take this leap to see what's next for you. I got this. I'll just give an example. I had this really powerful pull, and this happens to me. I knew I wanted to go deeper into astrology and learn more about myself, my own chart. Particularly interested in the transits and the transiting planets compared to my natal planets. And Molly McCord, one of my favorite astrologers, put out a course, and I listen to her all the time. So she's great. She'll like give the whole view, astrological overview. And then at the end, she'll talk about like her offerings. And she had this new course, and it was like a blend of her giving live webinars and also pre-recorded material. So number one, I found out when I got on her website portal, her portal, that it has a lot of connections to do with kind of how I want to set up my course material and membership information and stuff like that. So I got like a practical application there, right? And the Fool is about to go into something. When we think about this on a soul level, this is the soul jumping into something very practical, but with the full soul capacity. And that's kind of how I felt like going into I was very drawn to this transits course. And I already feel like after, let's see, we've had 2 webinars. I think we have 1 more. So I already feel like I've got this energy like now anchored in this transit energy, and I can begin to explain it and work with it for myself. I like to work with it on myself first and then others. But that's just one example of something. But it was like this pull. Yeah. And there's some blockages arising here because I'm feeling like maybe some of you are hearing a call or you're feeling pulled this December to something, but you don't know, like with everything that's gone on this year and how chaotic it's been and the mutable energies, you're not sure if you should follow that. There might be some hesitation there with it in this Fool card, but there's an invitation here. I think some of you are going to be stepping into a new beginning. Because you step into a new beginning doesn't mean it's going to be visible right away to everybody else. It could just be you are getting comfortable in these energies. So what are you drawn? I'm really getting to ask yourself, what are you drawn to? It could be something to do with like a new health routine. It could be something to do with, your business. Could be something to do with what you're drawn to communication wise or in relationships. So really like reflecting on, what does it mean for you? What does it mean for you? What are you drawn to? Are some of you experiencing a return to innocence? I had just seen, and I'm going to talk about this really quick because I really like the Star Trek Voyager series. It's a female captain, Catherine Janeway. I just love the way she leads. And even if you've never seen it, that's okay. They had this episode where they met an alien race. They get trapped in another quadrant of the galaxy and they meet this alien race. I forget what the name of the race is even called. But what happens at they're a race that used to be like really technologically focused, but they felt like they lost their way in all of that and that focus on technology advancement. And so they had like a reformation, and they ended up like evolving themselves to a degree where at the end of life, The elderly, what we would consider the elderly, like 80s, 90s, when it's time for them to transition, they actually return to their innocence. They return to uh, being a child. Like visibly to us, they would look like a child, like you would think they're a child, because they're at that end of life. They return to their innocence and they enter their next phase from that place. Many cultures also talk about like the life review, right? That's another thing that could carry us into that innocence. But the fool is, a depiction of working with this energy. So, return to innocence. What would that mean for you, right? And it's hard to do when you're 5 decades in, like myself, and jaded, and you've seen things about the world you don't want to see, remembering that there's a lot of things in the world that you did get to experience, which were lovely and beautiful and rich and connected, right? And so some of you may be really spending this month returning to that energy and may really be feeling it. All right, so I'm going to move on to the card we got for the 13th month, or that in between space. So rather than get mentally connected to how long is it? Is it 5 days? Is it 6 days? Is it an extra month of 30 days? What is it? Not getting connected to that, but actually just tuning into the energy. We got the Knight of Cups. And wow, what a journey this is offering us. The Knight of Cups is absolutely a energy that has momentum, but the momentum is very specifically from the heart. I'm being drawn back to the originality card that we got in the oracle message as well. So, and I love this Wizard's Tarot depiction of the Knight of Cups because he is crossing very deep river waters here with his horse. And rather than having a hand on the cup, which we see in the traditional Knight of Cups, this cup is in the water and he's got a wand. And I believe he's looking for this cup. And it's a golden chalice. And what this tells me is those of you that are willing to spend some time in this 13th month liminal time space, whatever, right? I don't even know what to call it, experience, you're going to be seeking and finding that golden chalice. So this is a return to the heart. Like I felt in the first card with the Fool, return to innocence. I feel like this is a return to the heart. Doesn't return to love. Marianne Williamson has that book, Return to Love. Have you ever read that book? I read it a long time ago. All right. And it's really about finding that golden chalice. And look how it's like how deep the night is in the water, but right in front the chalice, is it on some rocks? Is it floating on top of the water? Like, what is that? Are there rocks here? Are those water illusions? What's happening? What's happening here? And it's for each of us to uncover. I like how he's holding the light out in front of him. It reminds me a lot of the Hermit card. So it gives me the sense that we're going to go into this 13 energy, this space with our introspective forces illuminated, right? So the light of our inner wisdom is going to light our way. And there's a bit of, there could be a bit of like release here of sadness, because what it feels like to me is that there is evolution going on here, that and I remember this coming up in the new age community, and I don't like to sound too new agey here, but I'm going to use it as an example because I think it'll be familiar. And it's the energy of like, you can't go back once you have the understanding. Once you have a new understanding or a revelation, so to speak, you can't go back into those de-evolutionary energies. You can, okay, like you can, and people do, but it's not, doesn't line up vibrationally, and they end up being very stuck, miserable individuals. Once you have an awareness, it changes the way you live and the way you, and I don't know, what was that? Some light just like shone on the card and then it like went away. That was so cool and weird. And I don't know what that was because my light didn't change, I don't think. Possible. Maybe I just changed the angle and it was kind of like, ooh, I don't know. It just illuminated. That was like weird. Yeah, release of sadness is this picture reminds me of the in the never ending story when they're in the swamp of sorrow, or and the horse is giving up, right, and he has to get off the horse and he's crying, and it's like Atreyu is like crying and pulling his horse, and it's like traumatized all of us Gen Xers when we were kids. It made us all cry. Yeah, there could be some emotional energy in this space. There could be some sadness, but maybe it's through the transformation, the acknowledgement transformation of that sadness that we really begin to embody from our heart space, from the great transmuter, which I call the heart, a whole new energy to explore and to, what do I want to say, even move through and bring with you, right? So it's interesting because this is the energy that comes up in the middle in that liminal space. And what if we didn't go there? We could miss out on that. We could miss out on the release and the golden chalice that the universe is encouraging us to grab. So there's a progression here too, because you're going to see in January. So remember, Tressa had shared here about fulfillment and peace in the January position. January 2026, we got the Six of Swords energy. And this is the card of all the swords energy. And look, they are going through a portal. See the portal of light, like they're passing through from like a dingy, scary alleyway. They're leaving that energy. Six of Swords is the most peaceful of all the swords cards to get. It is actually leaving behind a connection to, or it can indicate a resolution of conflicting mental energies. All right, which is really beautiful and really nice. Now, that does not mean we won't go into next level mental energies. We do have three swords out in front of the picture here, but there's also, it's kind of hard to see, but I'll point them out, three swords behind the portal. So as we pass through this portal, the idea here with the Six of Swords is that we're taking ourselves to a place of greater peace and fulfillment. And maybe for January, we can just enjoy that. Maybe we can stay in that energy. There's definitely a traveling here. Traveling is indicated. We have the masculine with the motorcycle and then the little sidecar. She's in it and she's holding or hugging a young child, a girl, it looks like. We may be taking, family with us in these energies. This might be Girl Gon's here. Hello, Girl Gon. And I've seen you put up new content. I have to catch it. I have to go out and watch it. Yay for you. That's awesome. I've seen you put stuff out there. Yay. Definitely going to check it out. And and there's some dragon energy came up earlier. I just want to mention in the oracle reading because I know you have connection to the dragon energies. You've been watching Knights of Templar on Gaia and it's been mind-blowing. Ooh, cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I like watching stuff like that. I like exploring all kinds of stuff like that. So as January unfolds, we're going through this portal and there may be momentum here that's carrying us, which is nice. It's nice. To me, it feels like a little bit of like, how when you're walking or you're running and the wind is at your back and it's kind of helping push you forward. That's the energy that I feel here. So might be a little bit of universal breath here assisting us come January. So if that sounds nice to you, great. It doesn't mean there still aren't obstacles to overcome. It doesn't mean we're still not going to take this journey of working things out mentally, right? With the swords energy and the air energy here. But it is very promising in the sense that we are removing ourselves from the Five of Swords, like a more conflicted, tense kind of energy, and into something that feels a bit lighter. So let's get some clarifiers. So we've gone from the Fool in December to the Knight of Cups in that liminal space in between the 13th month energy, and then to the Six of Swords. The Fool comes up as a major arcana card. Let's get a few clarifiers for this. We felt the return to innocence. We felt the kind of that return to, are we going to take this jump? Are we going to take this leap? We're kind of measuring things, right? But it also represents new beginnings and new parts of our journey. So I think this came up too in last Frequency Friday, or was it Tarot and Tea? It was one of the two where there was a specific message that I heard for someone or group of someone's that was like, don't wait. Don't wait until the new year specifically. And I'm getting that again. Like December may be a time to do something or to transform, have a new relationship with something. Mine will be with my website. I'm going to build a new relationship with my website so that I can put together the foundation for the memberships and the course material that I want to put out there, right? And my conscious mind is like, how in the heck are you going to do that? You don't have any spare time. But you know what? I'm going to learn how to do that. Time is going to open up. This is what we're doing. When we become creator beings, we begin to work with space and time differently. That's why we're going into this 13th energy. So I'm making notes here of what we're being taught as well, or what is being shared here. All right. So the Fool energy that we got from the Wizard's Tarot here as December's energy is clarified by, wow, we've got a lot of emotional, watery energy coming up. Very surprising to me. Like everything that my mind was attached to about December, and as we move through the end of this month, the end of this year, again, it's being kind of turned inside out, which is good. This tells me that we're on to something here, exploring these liminal energies, these spaces in between. The King of Cups and the Ten of Cups. This feels really good. I'm thinking of like Karen is putting up her Christmas tree today and she gets that done. And man, it just feels so good. She can enjoy the ambiance in her house of the season. There is a celebration here with the Ten of Cups and feeling really emotionally good about something. And then the King of Cups comes in and says, yeah, I feel good and I feel complete. This could be a real sense of I feel complete with these relationships changing or the new direction I'm taking. I'm feeling stable, complete. I've got this. I'm feeling good about how I'm going to take care of myself and invest in my self care moving forward. Yeah. These are big emotional energies. Your relationship to how you feel about things is opening up. It's looking very positive. So, yes, we might have a little bit of hesitation and we're kind of testing the waters here. But I would say, these two cards coming in to clarify, it is safe to take that leap into the new territory. You do not have to wait. Don't wait into the new year. If you feel called, it was like me feeling called to take that astrology transits course. And I mean, I gobble it up. Like I can't get enough. Like Girl Gone, she's watching that Knights of Templar. It's like, it's like my soul is like, soul food. It's just like you cannot help yourself. Follow that energy. It's going to feel really, really good to you, right? It's going to feel really, really good and open things up. So whatever it is for you, whatever it is that's caught your eye. And it's a good time, like, because people want to gift you things. So if it is like a course you want to take or something, you could be like, hey, you could buy me this course, or maybe it's a self-care tool or something like that. Really opening up to that. But yeah, it's a time to feel good and accomplished about this energy, and this maybe even embracing our innocence. That is only done once we come to a certain fulfillment with forgiveness cycles, forgiving ourselves, forgiving others. That came up for any of you that have Leo in your chart in the short that I just put out last night. That came up for the Leo energy, I believe. It was like, if you need to extend an apology, or you're looking to receive an apology, like the energies are really good for that. So that cycle of forgiveness. Sometimes apologies, like, I'm not talking about surface level apologies, I'm talking about soul conversations. So it can honestly be, because sometimes you need forgiveness with people that have passed. So for some of you, it might be a little ritual, little ceremony to talk and speak energetically with someone. Sometimes you're in separation from people and you have those boundaries in place, so you just have the energetic closure conversation. That could be something that is happening for some of us this month. So let me see. Yeshua said, seek, seek, be shocked and awaken. So that's what you're doing. Yeah. And I love the seeking part of it. That's really what I was feeling, exploring into this 13th month, time, space, energy. And yeah, so we may be a little shocked and surprised about what we find there. Absolutely. And it's 10, 10, it's 11, 11 here. So, and 10, 10 for you. Okay. Beautiful energy. All right, let's get into next this Knight of Cups and do a few clarifiers here. And then I'm feeling called to maybe do something at the end. Maybe we'll pull a few more oracle cards here. So, yeah. So today, the kids and I and a couple of their friends, they have decided they're going to do a gift exchange, but they're exchanging from not going out and buying things and spending money, but just exchanging, gifting something that they own to their friend, as like, I'd like you to be the new owner of this, and whether it's a book set or, a crystal or something like that. And they're going to have a little fun, and we're going to meet up with the friends this afternoon and have boba tea and do the fun stuff, play games and do our little gift exchange. So they're really excited about that today. All right, this Knight of Cups in the liminal space. Yeah, you got the 12-12, Teresa, where you are. You got the portal energy. Nice. Nice. Oh my goodness, the cups energy. Oh, I am looking at all the cups energy that's coming out here for these placements and positions so far. And I am thinking, my goodness, you may be feeling like emotional, but I don't get that sense of like anyone feeling completely overrun with emotion. To me, it feels very grounded, and maybe it connects back to our ability to connect in with this elephant energy that we got in the oracle, that heavy grounded energy in a good way, heavy in a good way, that really like anchors us and is very wise and shamanic. This energy comes in. And I'm also getting, for some of you, it's a connection. I'm going to be talking about this next week, because like that 3-eye atlas interstellar object that some people call it a comet, but it doesn't behave like a comet. Um, that may be something to explore. And that may be where some of these emotions are coming from. But I honestly also get like resolution around emotions and a comfort level where they don't overwhelm you. You're processing them without feeling completely like you're having a meltdown, like overwhelm meltdown emotions. I do not get that energy. There seems to be in this liminal space the ability to be moved through these emotions. Okay, so you may feel moved to tears, but it's not like it just kind of flows and blends through your day. And then the next energy, the next emotional energy comes through. I'm not getting the major, like, snotty cries on the shower floor kind of thing. I'm getting more of the, wow, I feel really touched by that. I feel moved by that. I feel moved and I don't know why, but I'm going to let the tears come up and out. And if they flow a lot, fine. I'm not going to, the energy is not to be forced. The Knight of Cups that we got for the liminal space is connected also and clarified by the Eight of Cups and the Two of Cups. This is that inner knowing of partnerships, relationships, what you're walking away from and what you're connecting to. So the walking away happens with the Eight of Cups, but remember the Eight of Cups is a card of abundance. So if these are friendships, connections that you're walking away from, that you're letting go, I really feel the Eight of Cups says you're doing that with love. You're doing that with a great amount of love. It's just time. It's just time to go into a new part of the infinite cycle, so to speak, when we think about the eight, the infinite cycle. And it just kind of feels like there's people on other parts of the path. They may not continue up the same part of the spiral that you're continuing up, while others come in with the Two of Cups, and maybe this represents new partnerships or new levels and awarenesses in our partnerships that are very healing. We kind of have this, like, these two snakes, like the medical. I always look at this and it's like there's medicine here. There's like a medical, a do no harm kind of feel in partnerships. This could be something you're conceptualizing and you're working on energetically, or it could be something that's physically happening in your life. But if you have been, and if, I don't know if you're anything like me, but sometimes I'm like, I get so into the mysteries and so into the seeking and exploration that I kind of lose sight of, like, my relationship with others at times. I get a little absorbed into my excitement around what I'm exploring. And so this kind of brings my attention back to the importance of relationships and the dynamics of the relationships and what they teach us, whether they're at a phase where we're going to be letting go and walking away or exploring a new level of the relationship, or it's a new coming together, a new kind of medicine coming in. Interesting that in this space that we would otherwise just in December and go to January, in December and go to January, it feels very like robotic, right? But in this liminal space, the universe is saying, but there's something here for you. It's a new understanding. It's an emotional groundedness. It's an emotional flow that just feels more natural, not forced. It comes when it comes, it goes when it goes. And it's truly, there's medicine in here. I love that with the Two of Cups. There's medicine, there's interaction. So it's looking for those places here. So as we come up on the upcoming weeks, according to the Gregorian calendar, you may feel like you divert from that a little. You may feel like you go outside of, and you may find yourself, some of you have already done this, I guarantee it, because it happens to Jason and I all the time. We're like, what day is it? What day of the month? What? How's it Friday? Like, we just started this, and you start to get into this space that you can't explain from a temporal perspective. And so that is really calling to us here. So it'll be interesting as you're making note of all these things now, how you're going to feel pulled in and out or into and through these energies of this liminal space, the in between. I don't feel this, sometimes when we're talking about heaven, hell, there's like limbo. That is not what I get in this liminal space at all. It's not a stuck energy. There's way too much water here. This is all water. It's all movement. It's all flowing. All these energies are flowing. This is not a limbo. This is a creational space, a creational liminal space that has something to teach you and show you. All right. And that is important. So however you explore this, and maybe look into a little bit. I mean, I didn't go too deep into it. I just did a little research to say, oh, okay, the Ethiopian calendar has this like 5 or 6 days. Maybe that is connected for you. The Jewish calendar, every 7 year cycle. Maybe you're connected to one of the 13th energies that I mentioned before, like a Mary Magdalene kind of energy, right? That may correlate to like Black Moon Lilith in your astrology chart. So if you like start to get the tingles and the feels on these things, follow where your intuition takes you, because this space is offering something, and it's definitely going to indicate to you through your emotional energies. You're going to feel that pull, that draw, that flow, that connection. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. All right. So Teresa had shared peace and fulfillment. We got the Six of Swords, which is carrying us, looks like in January, in opportunity here to pass through a portal. We have the portal energy there into a place of greater peace. This is stress relief kind of energy. So let's see what kind of clarifiers come up here. Oh, okay. That one's coming right out. Yep. We kind of have the sense here. This is beautiful. I kind of get the sense here. We kind of have with December's energy and the Fool, we kind of have this new beginning. I would think it would be an ending, but we have kind of this new awareness of the beginning with that Fool energy and our emotional connection to that energy. And it feels good. And then in January, this is where it comes into the practical world and begins to show up, right? Because the energy is first, energy, and then the manifestation. All right. And so manifesting this level of peace in the physical world, again, these energies, I think we're honestly meant to explore this liminal space because there are gifts here. It feels like we're being gifted. I feel like there's gifts in all of this. Like there's gems, pearls of wisdom that we wouldn't otherwise gain. We got the Ace of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. So this is that connection to that fulfillment energy you were mentioning, Tressa, especially in the over here, the Nine of Pentacles, what you've created, what you've built, what you're capable of building. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. So this means this is an extension of the new beginning into the physical world. And I will say, once again, we have a portal. We have a portal right there with mountains in the background. This is the new part of our journey being manifest into the physical world from a place of greater peace and fulfillment. Pentacles also can come in with like money, but money matters balancing out, finances balancing out. Anybody else struggling with that this year? Me. Where is it? Come on. But it's through this energy where we connect with parts of ourselves that don't exist inside the time and space boundaries that the world has taught us, that we begin to connect with that infinite energy, and then in it comes here. So yes, hands open, accept. Accept this new money, new beginning coming in here. It could be a manifestation of your ideas. Maybe money's okay for you right now. Maybe you're calling in something else. Maybe this is Pentacles is dealing with physical health, a new awareness about your physical health, a new beginning, a new health practice. I know I have been really trying to get back on. I do a certain protein smoothie that works really well for me. And I just am trying to build it in to become like a new habit where I make that daily, or I make it the night before so I could just shake it up and drink it the next day, right? And really like how to make it more concrete. The Ace of Pentacles is like, this is coming into the physical world. We're going to make it more concrete. And the Nine of Pentacles here says, oh my goodness, like look at the momentum and look how peaceful and happy she is. She has a falcon. She's called in this falcon to her. And remember that show, Falcon's Crest? I'm totally dating myself, but I'm gonna have to go listen to that theme song for Falcon's Crest. It's like a nighttime soap opera, wasn't it? Oh my goodness, I don't know why I'm thinking of that. But I mean, this looks like a crested falcon to me. It's very brightly colored. It's got the little poof up above its hair, right? And this is it's a vantage point, a viewpoint of like your capabilities of what you can build. It's taking pride in what you've done. It's maybe seeing the value in things that you were unable to see the value in before. This is where things start making sense. Like, oh, okay, like all those things from 2025 that I was struggling with, that's what I had to learn. This is a card that represents that we've integrated some of this to the degree we begin to see the rewards in the physical world. I mean, honestly, I love this. For you earth signs, you can really, really ground into this energy as well. And yeah, it's just so lovely. It's such a beautiful card. She's like in a vineyard, and there's all these beautiful, ripe grapes just ready to be eaten. And there's all this, and it's of her own creation. So it's of your own creation. It's something you've created that comes to be known and shines in the physical world, and all from a place of greater peace. I love that. I absolutely love it. I love it. Okay, let's get a few more cards. I feel like some more things that we can take with us for like maybe mantras, affirmational type energy. Okay, so we're going to go into cosmic energy and the super attractor oracle here. So I don't feel like I want to divide the cards up. I just want to start pulling some cards. Maybe some of them will have certain connections to other areas of the reading, but today I'm feeling a much different flow than normal. So we're just going to honor that and go with it. Let's get a few cards from the super attractor oracle. And these can be things that if you have a pen and paper, want to jot these down or do a quick voice note for yourself, that you can take into your ceremonies, your rituals, your practices. Oh, Tress is going to love this one. Let's do this. I can do less and attract more. Yes, please. Yes, please. Now. I can do less and attract more. This really resonates because what I was sharing was like, how am I gonna, build all that I want to build and still do all the things that I'm doing now? And how do I balance? I don't know, but this liminal space, if I allow myself to go in, I'm going to unlock the secrets to how that works for me. I can do less and attract more. Yes. Yes, yes, I can do less. This is really calling for those of you, females out there. This is the pinnacle of that feminine energy that you don't have to work harder. And it's not even about working smarter from a mental perspective. This is about the flow energy. This is about expansion. I can do less and attract more. And we become the central place from which everything is called in. I love it. Okay, and then this next one, I don't think I've ever pulled either of these cards from this deck since I bought it. This next one is my true safety lies in my capacity to align with the love of the universe. And we had so much cups energy come up in this flow reading today in that liminal space. And this is okay. So y'all, I'm just going to admit right now, when the bank account is not as full as I want it to be, I feel like it rattles me to my core. Like if I think, oh, I'm not going to have enough to leave my kids, blah, blah, blah. And that lack matrix, like, sneaks in into my shadows and really gets me. And I forget that my true safety, where my actual true safety is, I have a Taurus moon. I like to feel safe and comfortable. Okay. And that means financially too. And when things are spread thin, and when it's like, we're going through this, collectively as well, a lot of things are changing. And there's certain energies to do with money that I don't want to get sucked into, but I definitely don't want to remain in the lack matrix either. This is what I must remember. My true safety lies in my capacity to align with the love of the universe. And that's what's going to attract what I need and what I desire in for me here. Okay. This has been a big, like, existential struggle. I don't know if you all go through this with like financial things and the way that money and things are structured in the world, but it is just like, such a pain point for me, honestly, that I have to go through. And, it just, there's this part of me that's like, that's a bunch of BS and it shouldn't be this way. There's infinite resources on this planet if we work with them correctly, right? Like there's parts of me that just cannot, like, I'm like, I cannot get on board with the uh complete, like, just utter imbalance of resources and the way things are operating here. And I get so pulled into that. And then, like, there, even sometimes with like the money manifestation stuff, right? It's like, yeah, I feel that, but I don't feel it from a place of, um, I don't feel called into it from a place of, what do I want to say? Like ego and adding zeros. It's this. It's 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 like making a living and having the resources I need and the flexibility and the freedom I need because of my purpose and my connection to the universe. And so I have this real mental struggle. Let me know. Do you guys go through these thoughts in your head? Do you get trapped sometimes or feel like you're trapped in like that lack? And then you have like realizations that open you up and you realize you're okay and you're safe if you connect with the true energy of the universe, with your divine purpose. Like this is I think it's a real struggle for a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, because the real reason you're doing things is not for that money. But there are people out there that do it for those reasons. There are people out there that do connect with that energy in that way. And there's not a whole lot of examples out there of being at peace. And then I get, I have this little bit of, I don't connect with any specific religion, but I will call it a little bit of Buddhist in me, where like I don't want to be what's the word, attached to stuff, you know I don't want to be attached to the stuff that like binds you and like grinds you into like this effects field of mess and imbalance, right? I want to detach. I want that free flowing abundance energy that's more than just about money, right? And so, gosh, what a struggle. Like, I love these cards. Very, very helpful cards. I might have to do some additional post with those cards. They're so interesting. Let's get into the cosmic energy and pull a few cards. And then I might be closing out just a little early today, just because of we've got to feed the kids and go someplace, but that's okay. That's okay. It'll be what it's meant to. I feel that this energy that we've uncovered today, that we've journeyed through, has been very powerful. You can pack a lot of power into a shorter amount of time, right? I can do less and attract more. Ooh, here we go. Okay, so the Cosmic Energy Oracle comes in with two also very beautifully powerful reminders. Grace. Grace is the universe's blessing. Open your heart to receive it. So the reminder of keeping the heart open, and connected. Grace, and this is like I'm starting to feel like tears. I feel the emotion coming up. So if I do cry a little bit, that's okay. I'm not going to force it, but I'm feeling the, how it comes up and it hits the back of your eyes and it's just like, oh, it might come out. I feel a deep connection. I'm absolutely loving the colors in this card and how warming they are and how reassuring they are. And receiving these blessings from your greater being, from your connection to the universe, from creator source, and how you connect to that divine energy. It's, grace is such an energy, it cannot be contained. It really can't. It opens and it opens and it opens like a lotus flower, just continually opening and blossoming open. Blossoms open and it, oh boy, yep. And I'm releasing some here too. Um, have you ever seen depictions or pictures of the toroidal field? I always have trouble with that word, toroidal field, where like it's just constantly working with your energetic body and flowing through in this kind of big tunnel, and then it kind of just expands and is ever changing and ever opening. That's kind of how grace feels for me. Karen says, I need to give myself more grace right now. Yes, absolutely. You've had a lot of actual physical world checklist items that you've been facing, but my goodness, the fact that you're able to get your Christmas tree up is amazing after just having a huge move and having to get furniture and having to do all these things, you know? And it's having that conversation with that part of yourself that it's like, wow, look at what you've done. And really feel into that energy and allow that energy to feed you and continually feed you and open up into these grace channels here. Can't do it with a closed heart. Got to have the open heart, which also serves as a great protective force and connects you with this safety that lies in the alignment with the universe here. So grace energy, I'm grateful for grace, definitely grateful for that energetic concept and being able to work with that. We also got trust your intuition, the universe guides you. And I love it because she is lifting her arms up. First of all, we have the butterflies. So we have the air element coming in. We have that great transformation. We kind of have a fire and water kind of vibe here. And there's a bubble. I'm loving that bubble. Maybe that's the in-between space, that bubble, that portal, that kind of it's reminding me of like in Stargate where they go through what looks like kind of like this cosmic water, or like it looks like liquid hematite or something, and you just go through, and maybe we spend a little time in that interstitial bubble there, that universal interstitial bubble, and we just enjoy what we learn, what we gain, and connecting to our emotions from that place. Trust your intuition, the universe guides you, right? We get so distracted with all of the guidance and even me, yes, I'm offering guidance, but at the end of the day, this is about you and your connection with creator source, with God, if you call it God, great spirit, your greater being, and being a fractal, not a fraction of a fractal, the entire universe can be unlocked within you. You carry that blueprint, and this is trusting that it's in you and that you're going through the process of unlocking it. So, very interesting that we may have, December and January, and then we have this 13th month, this liminal space represented in the bubble there, where we can hang out for a little bit and really connect in a different way and flow, and it will help us with the flow, that trust that everything will flow into place, and it doesn't have to be forced, and I don't have to stress myself out and work 60 hours a week. Yeah, sometimes there's going to be efforts put in, but can you catch that flow more often than not? That flow and that message, the message from the universe. Wow. Okay. Hi, Ashley. Ashley, I'm getting ready. I'm so glad you're here. Please listen to the replay. It was like super powerful. But I am getting ready to close up because I'm heading somewhere with my kids. But I wanted to remind everybody too, I will be live on Sunday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. Central time, and I will be doing the Q&A. All right. So come in early and drop your personal question if you'd like to that event. And that will be the last one, maybe, of December. I always say maybe because you never know if I get a wild hair, I might do it and do another one. There'll be Tarot and Tea coming out. This is Frequency Friday, episode 48. Next week is 49, and we end the year with 50 episodes of Frequency Friday for the life of this channel. Isn't that exciting? So definitely try to catch the next few Frequency Fridays if you can. And Tarot and Tea, of course, is coming out every Tuesday. And who knows? Who knows what else will come next? I am still working on my plan, and there's a lot going on with changing over into this new phase for myself and what that looks like. So I too will be spending time in this liminal space in the 13th month, time and space, to see what is revealed to me. I feel like there's some missing puzzle pieces that I'll be uncovering there. So, yes, thank you all so much. Many, many blessings to all of you, and for all that you dedicate to this channel, the watch, the thumbs up, all the good stuff. I really, your comments, I still have some comments I need to respond to. Thank you so much for that. And I hope that all the good blessings that you bestow upon me return to you all 1,000 fold. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.